All right, this is what my parents didn't know, and I'm Jax. And today we're going to talk about compartmentalization. So, one of the things that we talk a little bit about, and we've brought up some points to it, is coping mechanisms. How do we deal with the bullshit that's in our brain? How do we deal with the practical shit that we have to deal with? So, this is something that I used to be amazing at, and it took a long time to get good at it. And eventually I was just super good at it. And through the last couple of years and some of the stuff that's happened, I kind of fucked up that part of my mind, that super logical part of my mind that is super good at compartmentalization. So we're going to talk about that a little bit here. So what is compartmentalization? Compartmentalization is when you take the things that are on your mind and you focus on one thing at a time. And I was just talking to somebody about this, and they were trying to do it, and honestly, I think they did do it. But they did struggle, because after they said, okay, well, this thing I don't have to deal with right now, I can deal with this actually probably in a couple of months, then all the other shit that they had to deal with just kind of flooded in. And one of the thoughts that I had on this was that, our mind, our thoughts, they flood us, and we can tread the water and try not to drown, or we can figure out how to swim in it. And my thought was nobody just knows how to swim. I mean, I suppose dogs do, but I mean, like, we as people, we have to learn that. So we're being thrown in the water, and we're getting flooded in our own minds with all of these different details, shit that we have to take care of and have to deal with, and it's very difficult to focus on one thing. So there is a part of processing where the goal is to get into the present. Okay, we talked about it in a prior video, where you can't do anything about the past that happened. You may have to deal in the present with the past, but that is not every moment. The things that are in the future, they haven't happened yet. So the story hasn't been written on that yet. So what you can deal with is the present. So how do we get in the present? How do we stay in the present? Well, part of that is mental discipline. And I would love to tell you I got it. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But I know what to do when I think to myself, I'm overwhelmed and I need to get on track here. So we're gonna go over a couple of examples. Now, let's say your relationship is broken, which is a lot of the videos that we do. Your relationship is broken, and now you're in a position where you have to do 100% of the adulting for yourself, and more than likely your children or whoever it is that's relying on you. So if you are some dude that you don't really know how to cook, you never had to deal with the laundry, your partner took care of all of the details in the house. Okay, now me personally, as a kid, I had to learn how to cook. I had to learn how to clean. I had to learn how to fold fucking sheets, and how to fold a top sheet and then fit the fitted sheet inside with the pillowcases and make it this fucking big. Like, I can do that. I was trained to do that. My grandmother was very fucking good at teaching me how to do laundry. I also had to learn how to cook. I had to wash fucking dishes. There is not much in a house that I can't do. However, as I started taking on more responsibilities, working in jobs and running businesses and just all the shit that's going on in life, I did not have to worry about all those other things. And part of my fuck up was I had an idea of how things should be in the house based on the way that I grew up and what worked for me and, my brother and my sisters and, my parent or whatever. There's certain things that I think work and my way work. And what you really need to train yourself when you're in a relationship with another partner is your way is a way. It's not the way. And maybe some things that are your way are adopted by the other partner and they do it that way also. But if they're doing the work, let them figure it out. Fuck off. If they ask for help, if they ask for your advice, that's support. That's okay. To say, why the fuck are you doing it like that? Why don't you do it like this? That's fucked up. Don't do that because you're criticizing them for, not doing it a way that maybe you haven't even communicated yet and maybe isn't even invited. Maybe they don't even want to fucking know how you do it because they are already thinking about it. They are already trying to figure it out. So let them be them. I wish that I had been more conscientious of that myself throughout my relationships, and that's power and control. That is a controlling thing that I had. There were certain ways that I wanted certain things, or really maybe it'd be even better to say that there were certain ways that I felt were right. And it didn't feel right for it not to be right for everybody else because I had a control issue. So now back to compartmentalization. You have all of this responsibility because now you're taking care of the kids. If you're a dude and you've been separated, now you have the kids. Let's say you have the kids 4 days every 2 weeks. Okay, you have them for fucking dinner on Wednesday and every other weekend, something like that. So those days, everything is on you. It's your job to feed them. It's your job to make sure they get to bed. It's your job to do the discipline. All of that shit is on you. Maybe your partner participates, or your former partner, or whatever the fuck she is or he is, maybe they participate in it, maybe they don't. But let's just say it's all on you. So now you're thinking to yourself, I got my job. There's shit I got to do with that job. And so that's going to consume 40 to 60 hours of my week. So how do I manage paying my fucking bills when those bills are getting paid? Maybe you set up auto pay and it just comes out and you just already have that down. Not everybody has that. A lot of people are just figuring it out paycheck to paycheck. A lot of fucking people are living paycheck to paycheck. So what I recommend is go online and download a budget sheet. Okay, and that budget sheet, what that does is it says, okay, this is my rent or my mortgage payment, this is my car payment, this is my insurance, this is my electric bill, this is my water bill, this is my cable bill, this is my internet, and maybe you have two separate, who the fuck knows. These are all my digital services, and then this is my phone bill, and you break it down like that. What I recommend is that you write down what the total of each bill is, when that bill is due, and if it's a bill that you are having trouble to affording, then just what I recommend is you figure out what your income looks like and then what the total bills are, and you figure it out that way. Sometimes you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, and and that shit is going to catch up on you. So you want to make sure that if you have to compartmentalize and your bills are on your mind, know that it's on that piece of paper and you'll get to it. What I had to do at one point was I had to get to the place where I was looking at bills once a month. because otherwise they were flooding me and fucking me over and keeping me from doing a great fucking job at work. They were frustrating me when I got home. It was taking away my attention from my family, and it was really just a whole bunch of shit. So I just got into the habit of saying, okay, I get paid, this time or this time or this time. At that time I had business, so money was coming it was so fucking randomly. There were times where I would get paid 3 times in a month. There was times I get paid 1 time in a month, and it was just a juggling thing. So I just said, you know what, fuck this. We're going to do it one time only. We're going to have it nice and organized, and we're not going to fucking change it. All right? Compartmentalization is important because sometimes what happens, depending on your personality type and who you are, how you think, I was taught to hustle. I was taught to have multiple game plans for any fucking outcome and try to be prepared for everything. And I adopted that in almost like a panic state. So I would randomly start panicking about a bill that needed to get paid, and I wasn't sure how I was going to do it, and all of that shit. Compartmentalization. One time every month, I'm looking at my bills and I'm dealing with my bills. One day. And most of those times, it's like a couple of hours. And if it's even that long. Because after you develop a system and you have steady pay coming in, and hopefully you're able to save a little bit of money, as that money comes in, it just takes a few months of developing that habit of when you're paying what and where and all that other shit. So compartmentalization takes all of those bills that are in your mind and says, I'm going to deal with that one at a time, and that's it. Okay? Now another thing that comes in is our emotions, the shit that we deal with. Okay? You're a parent and you have kids, and now you are doing 100% of the work. So now you take that 100% of that work and you start saying, oh my God, Jesus, my kid's getting bullied. The other one is isolating. Another one is just like, you got to keep a fucking eye on him because that kid is just going to start, crack their fucking head. You got another kid that's in the yard, and you're like keeping an eye out because you see all the fucking, all the pedophiles that are on that fucking map online. And so you just have all of these things that you're focusing on. Compartmentalization says, what can you take care of right now? And focus on that one thing. Come up with a solution in the present, and then leave it there. This is my solution. Okay? I'm going to, my daughter is going to have a baseball game. That baseball game is on Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock. I am not going to worry about that baseball game until Monday. And then on Monday, after the kids are fed and all that other shit, I'm going to prepare for that baseball game. And then when Tuesday comes, you're able to handle Tuesday shit and then just pick up your shit from Monday and pop it in the car. Like compartmentalization. Now, I mean, these are just things that I'm thinking of. You have very fucking specific things that you're dealing with. You have very fucking specific things that are flooding your mind. So compartmentalization helps you to sort out everything so that you're dealing with one thing at a time. A lot of folks will write down shit. If you're going through some kind of a group or a therapy, organization is a big deal. So writing it down, you have your phone, but some of us, I have no fucking phone discipline. I barely save anything in my fucking phone as far as my schedule is concerned, because I'm good at remembering it, so I just keep it up here. So I don't bother with that. But if there's 5 or 6 things that are coming up at me, I will write it down and say, okay, I'm going to deal with this right now, this in a little bit, this in a little bit, this I'm not dealing with that shit until fucking next week. And then this thing here is something that I'm going to ask somebody to help me with because it's just too much for me to handle right now. Compartmentalization handles things individually. Now, the last thing is the emotions. Now, let's say right now you're very overwhelmed. Your mind is flooded. You have a lot of emotions going on. In those emotions, remember, emotions don't think. Emotions can react, but they don't think. So if you're angry, if you're frustrated, if you're whatever it is, try to break it down. Try to break it down and say, okay, like, okay, this is your head, so you can be fucking honest here. Sometimes we're fucking scared. Sometimes the shit is just piling up and overwhelming us, and that overwhelming, it creates fear. Acknowledge that shit. Acknowledge it. Say, fuck it, man. I'm afraid. Break out your emotions wheel, okay? If you go online, you can find the wheel of emotions. That's what I Google, and I've downloaded it on my phone like 100 times. I have like 1,000,000 of them in my fucking cloud. Never one on my phone. But if you take that emotions wheel and look at fear, it'll start breaking it down, the different attributes of fear, the different things that lead up to being afraid. You don't start afraid. Sometimes you start confused. Sometimes you start being afraid because you're just startled, like something just got your attention and jolted your adrenaline. And then sometimes it's super deep, and we say, I can't fucking handle this. This is when compartmentalization comes in. What is it that you can't handle? Write it down. What is the exact feeling that you're having? Check that emotions wheel. What is that feeling that you're having with this one thing that's on your mind? Where it's coming from. Okay. Write that shit down. All right. Is there something else that is with this that's creating fear? Because you're not starting with being afraid. You break down the problem. That's compartmentalization. You break down the problem, and then you deal with the problem individually. Now, as you do this, you'll start going deeper and deeper into your heart. You'll start really exploring like where shit came from. You want to know why it matters what the fuck your mom said to you and 23 years ago? The reason why it matters is it's something that has created a way that you think. And it may be beautiful, and it may be fucking toxic. It may be fucking you up. And if it's fucking you up, then that thing that they taught you that was fucked up, you're probably giving that to your children. Especially if you're going from doing 30% of the work with the kids to 100% of the work with the kids. And you're working 60 fucking hours a week. Give yourself permission to be human. If this shit is overwhelming you and breaking you, fucking cry. Turn off the goddamn light. Be a toxic masculinity dude. Turn off the fucking light. Go in a corner and cry real quietly. Get it the fuck out. Because you not doing that could keep you from moving forward. You have to compartmentalize. Okay, you have to express that emotion in a place, in a way where it's not causing other people a reaction, an emotional reaction. Okay, if your partner wants to see you broken and sad because they love you, not because they're being an asshole, let them. You fucking chose them. So why not give them that part of you that nobody else gets to fucking have? Nobody else gets to see. And share that with them. It's intimacy. Intimacy is not fucking. Intimacy is getting to know each other. Okay? Have intimacy. Have it with your friends. Have it with your partner. Have it with your children. Your children should know who you are beyond, that is my dad, he goes to work. That is my mom, she cooks meals for me. Like, if I'm hurt, I'm going to go to mom because she knows how to fix me. And if I'm confused, I go to dad because dad knows how to like explain shit to me. So compartmentalization helps you to focus on one thing at a time, figure out what you're doing with that one thing, and then move on. And I recommend that unless you're trying to power through it because you just have no fucking time, and so you're going to compartmentalize and you're going to deal with one thing, two things, three things, four things, five things, six things. You're gonna knock all of that shit out because you have 2 fucking hours, and then your whole life is crazy for the next week. However, you have to do it so that you are able to be in the present as much as possible. If you can do this, then a few things will happen. Number one, you'll be accomplishing a hell of a lot more than you were before. Number two, you get to know yourself. Number three, you've empowered yourself because now you're handling your fucking business. And all of us are capable of handling our fucking business. We do not need a partner to handle our business. Number 4, I think. I don't know what fucking number I'm on. Anyways, the next one is you're more prepared to be a better partner, a better parent, a better friend, because and also better to yourself. You can enjoy fucking self-care because you know you handled your shit. Compartmentalization. Handle your shit. And actually, like, have a fucking conclusion for the shit that is driving you fucking nuts and causing you anxiety and stress. Now, I say that like it's the easiest fucking thing in the world. I've had years where I felt like I was knocking this shit out and compartmentalizing like a motherfucker. Then I've had weeks and months where I just don't feel like I have it at all. But if I understand compartmentalization, I have a tool to deal with it. And that's what we're doing here. We're just trying to give you some fucking tools, let you know you're not the fuck alone in your shit. There are churches. I don't know about mosques and shit. I don't know anything about American Islam. I know about Middle Eastern shit because I have friends out there. But as far as mosques go, I have no idea what kind of services they have. But there are tons of free services that will help you learn how to budget. There are tons of services out there to help you think through. You can call a crisis center just to say, I'm not sure what to do. Can I just talk to you for a minute and spiel your shit out and go from there? You are more than motherfucking capable of handling your business. When you're overwhelmed, I recommend take a break. Unplug from all that shit. For me, I go smoke a cigarette and I listen to music. Or occasionally I'll call up a friend of mine and I'll just unplug from my life with my kids there too. I'll just say, Dad's gotta go. I'll be back in a minute. And my kids have learned. If you ask my kids what my most effective coping mechanism is, they'll say, Dad will go outside, he'll smoke a cigarette, he'll be back in 10 minutes, everything will be cool, and he will just, if there's an apology owed, he will give that apology. And but either way, you know that Dad's not frustrated anymore. I need that disconnect. That's why I love to smoke. I'm gonna fucking smoke cigarettes until I feel good again. And I'm very optimistic. I'm an optimistic person, actually, and I'm very fucking optimistic that will happen in the next year or so. So that'll be the first time in 25 years I've had an idea that I'm actually going to quit smoking and want to. So, anyways, and that's compartmentalization. I don't stress about that shit. I know there's a time coming. So that's compartmentalization. And if you have any questions, Jack's content@gmail.com. Hit me up anytime. You can find me on Twitter and Facebook. And no, don't find me on Snapchat. I don't really use that shit. I don't get it. So, anyways, enjoy your day.